What's up YouTube, MixTrix back in another video, and in today's video we're going to be going over 10 things that only year 1 players will remember. So let's see what you guys remember. So these are in no particular order, but let's just get started off with the Gjallarhorn at number 10. This gun was so iconic back in the day. If you had this gun made sure you got into a raid group or not. I remember when Crota came out, if you did not have this gun, you would not make it in. Now this gun was so rare and so hard to find and obtain in the game that many people didn't even get it until the last week that he sold it, that Zer sold it. I even remember watching Zer sell it and I'm like, who would buy an exotic rocket launcher? And then I was so stupid and I figured out how good the Gjallarhorn would be. Now this gun was so iconic, I can't even describe how much of an impact this gun made on the game. But everybody from year 1 and even year 2, also year 3 since it's in that year too, everybody knows the Gjallarhorn. If you were around during year 1, you were so lucky if you got this gun. Now these next two go very well together as they're from the same raid. So this is the Templar and Atheon cheeses. Now back in the day, these were the easiest ways to beat these really tough raids. For Templar, all you had to do was throw grenades at him until he fell off the map, and you could easily get a Fatebringer, which is one of the best guns at the time. Also, same thing with Atheon. All you had to do was throw grenades. I remember that's the only way people could beat it when the game first came out. That's how I beat it. I'm not ashamed of it because I got the Vex Mytho class. And I know everybody did this cheese, and this is one of the most iconic cheeses ever in Destiny. Now, a very iconic gun, just like the Gjallarhorn, was the Vex Mytho class that came from the previous raid, the Vault of Glass. Now, this gun, if you had this gun when it was really good, it still is pretty good, even after all the nerfs. This gun was an absolute monster. Everybody that had it used it, and there were 2-3 shotting people left and right. The rate of fire on this gun was insane. If you had this gun, you couldn't be stopped unless someone else used the Vex Mytho class. Now it's sad that they nerfed this gun, and this gun, it even looks beautiful. Just look at the nice golden design, the nice amber lens. It's just such a beautiful gun. I hope they can bring it back for year 4. Now next up is the Loot Cave. The Loot Cave was such an iconic spot in Destiny year 1. When the game first came out, everybody went to this Loot Cave. If you wanted engrams, you went here. People would grind here for hours on end, getting these blue and green and hopefully purple engrams if you were lucky enough. Sadly though, back then the purple engrams decoded into blues, but still, if you wanted engrams, this is the spot you came to. People would get 10s, 20, 30, hundreds of engrams non-stop from this one spot. And they even made an Easter egg about it in the game. Now next up is the Nightfall blue flame that you get on your head. Now this flame was so special. If you had this flame back in the day, in the first few weeks, people thought you were the god of Destiny. They thought you beat the raid or something, or you unlocked something that no one else had. And it just looked sick to have blue flames coming out of your skull. It even gave you an XP buff. And back then, the Nightfall was a lot harder. Like nowadays, you don't even respawn and you don't go back to orbit. You could just restart from wherever you just last died, and it's just not as fun as it used to be. And they should make this Nightfall more challenging like it used to be. Now, one of the most important changes in Destiny ever was the vault size. Back in the day, when you had a vault, it was so tiny. You had maybe 20 weapons, 20 armor, and 20 general items. That's all you got. If you wanted to store more, you had to keep it on characters or somewhere else in like the postmaster or something. Thank God they increased our vault size. They even had to increase it 2-3 times because it just wasn't enough. And I still think it's not enough, and I think they're going to increase it again in Destiny 2. Next up is Trials of Osiris, and I know Trials of Osiris is still in year 2 and year 3, but not like it was in year 1. In year 1, the loadout was completely different, and I felt like Trials was more fun. You could be a casual player, and you could still go flawless every week, as long as you just put in the time and dedication. You didn't have to grind the game 24/7 with the most sweatiest players in the world to win. You could just hop on with your friends, play a few matches, and go flawless. It wasn't skill based, and it was pretty easy and fun. And also, the original layout, the boons were different, the packages were different, everything was just different, and it was just a nice and cleaner look, and it's just very nostalgic to see. Now everybody nowadays knows the Thorn is good. It used to be good. But how many people actually remember when the Thorn was a really bad weapon? If you used the Thorn, you were made fun of. Who used the Thorn back in the day? Before it got its initial buff, where it started controlling the Crucible meta, nobody ever touched the Thorn. It was the worst gun in the game, and now it's one of the best. Now back in year 1, before we had a huge light cap and before our armor gave us a bunch of light and our weapons also gave us light, we had a number known as defense. Now the defense was the most useless system in the game. It did not serve any purpose to our guardians, and it was just a number that they put on the screen, and it had no purpose. It didn't make your character better, didn't make you stronger, didn't make you weaker. It did nothing to improve your character. Now last but not least has to be the most iconic thing about Destiny, what makes the game, and that's grinding. I feel like in year 2 and year 3, you never got that sense of grinding that you didn't get in year 1. In year 1, there was always something you were chasing, whether it was an exotic, a legendary, or a piece of armor. You were always chasing that one thing until you finally got it. For example, millions of people were chasing the Gjallarhorn. Myself, I had the Gjallarhorn, but I was still chasing the Icebreaker and the Fatebringer. I just couldn't get them. I just felt the game was more fun since there's always a grind. There was always something you needed, and there was always something you wanted. And I just don't see that in year 2 and year 3. And they need to bring that grind back to Destiny 2. If that grind is not in the game, it's not going to be as fun as it used to be in year 1. So thanks so much for watching, guys. Hope you guys leave a like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.